of dem Strassenfest. I share my joy and say to you, willkommen, willkommen. Open the fire of Strassenfest. We sing with joy, we curtsy to our guests.
Willkommen beim 40. Strassenfest. Welcome to the 40th Strassenfest. Good evening. I am Mike Ackerman, chair of the 2018 Jasper Strassenfest. I'm glad you could all join us here this evening. I'm especially joyful and proud of those of you that are wearing your German to help celebrate our heritage. Thank you so much for doing so. You are all in for a treat this evening. Our opening ceremonies are going to include a number of original German things, such as what you just saw here for our opening with the high school students. We're also going to have some things that tie us into our Pfaffenweiler Schneckifest. As many of you are aware, Jasper's Sister Cities program was recently recognized as best in nation for a city of our size. So we certainly want to celebrate that, and it's a great tie-in. The Strassenfest Committee especially wants to acknowledge the Jasper Deutsche Verein, or German club here, for underwriting the cost of much of what you're seeing with our heritage here today. The costumes, the maypole, lantern, a bell, all of these things were because of the generosity of this club, so we owe them quite a bit as well. We have a special thank you for Deutsche Verein treasurer and my sister, Laura Grammer. Her creativity and countless hours of organizing all of this, getting the performers put together, the arrangements of the music. We couldn't have done it without you, Laura. A big round of applause for Laura, please. We saw our night watchman and his wife come out to ring the bell to signify the opening of the fest. You're going to see them again here shortly. That is Logan Grammer and his wife Beth, Laura's son and daughter-in-law. A special thank you to our singers for the opening Willkommen song. While it was a tune that we all can recognize, the lyrics were original to this festival. And the JHS Ambassador Choir members under the direction of Stephanie Burns and Evan Elrod did a great job of organizing that and having that taken care of. The ambassador singers who sang that song included Allison Bilawa, Cade Chambers, Morgan Decker, Lucas Eby, Gabriella Eck, Mara Felberg, Sydney Ferrara, Connor Fritsch, Ethan Fritsch, Emmy Grommelsbacher-Zayer, Emma Groh, Olivia Hedinger, Aaron Herbst, Jacob Hessler, Rebecca Keaton, Kylie Kremp, John Lee, Alex Lopez, Riley Sample, Daniela Serrano, Nick Stuckey, Caitlin Tim, and Ashley Whitsitt. It is wonderful to include our young people in our heritage and have them take such a big part in our open ceremony. I want to give another big round of thanks here to our dancers who perform for you up here on stage. They are from the JHS Theater Department under the direction of Tina Liebehusen. Our dancers this evening included Amos Bushketter, Ethan Fritsch, Aaron Herbst, Nicholas Hodell, Brianne Lechner, and Melanie Patterson. Melanie, by the way, is her second runner-up in her pageant, so give all of these folks a good round of applause. At this time, I would ask that our color guard present our nation's colors in front of the maypole. As they get set up here, we're going to start off with John Kendall coming up to lead us in Back Home Again in Indiana, and then they will remain there for the celebration singers to perform our national anthem. Please remove your hats as they come onto the street and remain standing during this time. Color guard, please present the colors.
Back home again in Indiana, and it seems that I can see the gleaming candlelight still shining bright through the sycamores for me. The new mown hay sends all its fragrance from the fields I used to roam. When I dream about the moonlight on the Wabash, then I long for my Indiana home.
As the colors are retired. This is Boy Scout Troop 182. Thank you, youth, for being a part of the 40th Jasper Strassenfest. With that, I'd like to invite to the podium Father Brenner for an invocation.
Our gracious God and Father, as we open this Strassenfest with the theme of 40 years of memories and the best is yet to come, Let us remember what those who have gone before us have done with faith, hard work, and determination, giving thanks for the past. And let us move forward to the future with that same faith, that same determination, that same hope, so that we can provide for the future and make certain that the best is yet to come. We ask all this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Father. At this time, I'd like to ask the Mayor Seitz to please come forward for the Mayor's proclamation and some words of wisdom from him.
Thank you, Michael. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. And as it's been stated before, Viel Kokum to the 40th Annual Jasper Strassenfest. You can do that again. We have a lot more applause. From the observance of the very first German Day in 1895 to the first Strassenfest in 1979, Jasper has been home to a street festival like no other. This year's theme of 40 years of memories, the best is yet to come, is actually a very appropriate message, and here's why. We have a great deal to celebrate from our past, this very day, and in preparation for the future. We are at a special place and time where we can enjoy what is good, yet be unafraid to embrace what can make us even better. At the encouragement of the Strassenfest Committee and Chairman Ackerman, I wish to briefly mention several items related to our past, our present, and our future at this time. Mike mentioned it, but I want to reiterate again my congratulations to Jasper Sister Cities for recently receiving the Sister Cities International 2018 Award for Best Overall Program for a city with a population of 10 to 25,000. Congratulations, Sandy Ware and all. That recognizes the heritage we have and also continues with a great exchange program. We'll talk to you about it in a little bit more. But right now we're looking at our future. We're doing a program called Impact Jasper. It's our comprehensive plan. It's our next 10 years out. Actually, we're going to kind of look at 2030. And you may want to know why, because that seems an odd number. In 2030, according to the plaque we dedicated in 2016, that will be Jasper's 200th anniversary. And we're going to gear up from now with this Impact Jasper plan to prepare for that day by looking at our community. So in front of the courthouse statue tonight is a tent housed by Taylor Siefker Williams, our Impact Jasper coordinators. And tonight they need your input. There'll be a lot of other time, but go sign the Jasper signs. Tell us what you see in our future. Welcome people to the Strassenfest. And finally, there are two special events coming up which connect to our heritage. First of all, I'm very proud to say the German ambassador from Chicago came to Jasper earlier this year and invited us officially to celebrate German-American Celebration Midwest, which is going to be held on October 6th and 7th in Indianapolis. This is truly from all across the Midwest. There will be a parade, and we are taking a motor coach to that parade. We still have seats available, so we'd like to have you sign up, and there's notes in the information booth and the beer garden. At the same locations, we're announcing our 2020 partnership trip to Europe, including visits to London, Paris, the beaches of Omaha, where World War II really took its course, and Pfaffenweiler. But tonight, to the matter at hand. It is my honor to acknowledge special people who are a significant part of the 2018 Strassenfest. First, Strassenfest chairperson Mike Ackerman, along with his wife Ann. Strassenfest host and hostess, president of the Jasper Deutsche Verein, Steve Schmidt and his wife Barb. And now our royalty, Miss Strassenfest, Hannah Ryberg. Junior Miss Strassenfest, Michelle Ondiek. Little Miss Strassenfest, Victoria Gunselman. And Little Mr. Strassenfest, Oliver Williams. And of course, I'd be remiss if I didn't thank the entire Strassenfest committee on planning this extraordinary event. You're going to hear more about them and all the past chairpersons of Strassenfest previous coming up in a moment. But now, in accordance with the authority vested in me by the Constitution of the State of Indiana, I, Terry Seitz, Mayor of the City of Jasper, proclaim the dates of August 2nd through the 5th it be set aside for the 40th annual Jasper Strassenfest, and I encourage you to celebrate 40 years of memories in anticipation that the best is yet to come. Thank you, everybody. As you know, Jasper's sister city is Pfaffenweiler, a community of about 2,500 people in the southwest part of the great country of Germany. It has an annual celebration called the Schneckenfest, Snailfest. As part of the Pfaffenweiler Schneckenfest opening ceremonies, the mayor lights a lantern. The custom dates back to the times before electric lights. The night watchman would spend the night patrolling the streets of Pfaffenweiler to check on businesses and homes. The night watchman lit up the night with his lantern. In Pfaffenweiler, the night watchman's lantern is lit and the lights in the city are turned on at the same time. We have a little trouble with doing that tonight. Since if we turned them on, you wouldn't see them. So bear with us, because right now it's important that we add this tradition to the opening ceremonies of the Strassenfest, a lantern lighting. And it's my great honor to do the first lighting of the Strassenfest Sister Cities lantern. Will the night watchman and his wife please step forward? There we go, ladies and gentlemen. The lantern is lit. The festival is beginning.
Thank you, Mayor, for those insightful words and a great proclamation, and for the lighting of our initial lantern. A special thank you goes out to Mike and Maureen Brown of Finishing Touches for providing the lantern to us that will hang in our City Hall and be used for many years to come, hopefully as part of our opening ceremonies. At this time, I would like to take the time to recognize those that did all the heavy lifting to bring you this year's Strassenfest. While I had the easy job of being the chief cheerleader and just the organizer that brought all of this to you, if it were not for the dedicated people on the committee that put forth all of the hard work, none of this could have happened. So please, as I'm going to call their names and ask them to come forward here on the stage and wave at them. Please recognize them with your applause for all of the hard work that they have done to bring you the 2018 Jasper Strassenfest. We've got our maypole dancers that are getting ready, and they will just sit here until we are completely ready for them. So let me start with our Jasper Chamber Representative, Nancy Eckerly. Jasper Chamber Representative, Janet Beckman. From WITZ, WQKZ, in charge of advertising and opening ceremonies, Bob Blamel. From North Spencer Schools, in charge of our booths, Ms. Corey Schwartz. This year on entertainment, his first year from service, is Heath Klimper. From Sell for Free Realty, on taking care of special projects for us, Gary Schnell. Russell Gent is in charge of logistics and was unable to be here this evening. In charge of events from Huffman Office Supply, Nicholas Huffman. In charge of our website and IT from Kimball Electronics, Ben Potter. Ben is unable, yep, he is here, he's coming, I may have messed up the order here. And wave, Ben. Come on, big guy. You got to wave at him here. From Schnitz Brew Pub, in charge of her social media, and she's done a great job as her first year on the committee, Shelby Hedinger. In charge of sponsorship from Lincare is Patrick Norris. Three folks in charge of our pageant. In charge of the Little Miss and Little Mr. pageant, Sheila Beck. From the City of Jasper, in charge of Junior Miss pageant, Darla Blasey. From German American, in charge of the Miss Strassenfest pageant, Becky Hickman. and of course, our Jasper Deutsche Verein representative, Steve Schmidt. And one final recognition, while she did not want to be part of the official committee, I could not have done this without the support of my wife, Ann. Wherever you are, thank you so much. I would like to acknowledge past Strassenfest chairs by name. We are not bringing them up on stage in the interest of time, but our chairs over the last 40 years have been Charles Stemptenagel, Steve Stallings, Mike Huffman, Dr. Nancy Otte, Rick Stradner, Bob Burkamp, Linda Letterman, Gil Eckerly, Ron Kiefner, Kim Lotus, Bob Deisinger, Gene Coons, Angie Ernie, Al Keller, Ron Flick, Bridget Jarbo Bartley, Meredith Bogerl, Derek Baer, and Andrea Grommelsbacher. A round of applause for these folks, please. At this time, I'd like to invite our 2018 Miss Strassenfest, Hannah Rydberg, to the podium.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our 40th annual Strassenfest. My name is Hannah Rydberg, and I am so honored to be your 2018 Miss Strassenfest. It is amazing to look around and see all these people out here gathering and getting to be a part of the community, and I know that we have amazing food, live events, and just an amazing time for you guys. But first, we're going to focus on the Maypole dance, and I'm actually going to have my junior miss, Michelle Ondiak, to tell you more about our Maypole dance and how we're bringing more traditions in. Even though we've been here for 40 years, we're bringing amazing things in and just remembering the traditions that we have. So thank you, and I hope you guys all have an amazing fest night.
The Maypole. The Maypole, in German pronounced Maybaum. It's a tradition dating back to the 16th century. Originally, the Maypole was a tree trunk erected on the first day of May to welcome the start of spring. The Maypole dance was part of the village festival. A brass band played during the Maypole dance as the spectators in the village drank beer and ate sausages. In late years, the Maypole dance was performed for moments for great celebration. Thank you.
And now we're going to have our new 2018 Little Miss and Mr. Ollie and Victoria.
Let the Maypole dance begin!
What a wonderful job, kids. That was great. I want to thank our maypole dance performers, our elementary students. They are Ella Fox, Harper Gunn, Keaton Gunselman, Clara Helming, Isabella Kleesner, Briley Porter, Emily Raker, Haley Raker, Jeb Stratton, Lauren Truesdale, Ryland Truesdale, Allie Wagner, Ella Wagner, and Eli Werner. Another round of applause for those young folks. They are our future, folks. I'd like to invite Miss Strassenfest Hannah back up to have her court parade up through, just like we did with the committee members, for recognition for all of the ladies that did a great job at the Miss Strassenfest pageant. Hannah?
Hi, so I'd love to introduce you to the 2018 Miss Strassenfest court. So first we have first runner-up, Hillary Bauer. Then we have second runner-up, Melanie Patterson. And then we have Miss Congeniality, Taylor Mitchell.
Here's my junior Miss. First runner-up, Catherine McCoy. Second runner-up, Mallory Croft. Miss Congeniality, Amia Kim.
Do you guys want to introduce yourself? So now we have Little Miss first runner-up, and this is Vivian. All right, we have second runner-up, Josie. First runner-up, Reed. And then we have our second runner-up, Carson. Everyone did such an amazing job, and we also, again, have our two... Oh, sorry. And then we have Best German Costume. Everyone did such an amazing job at the pageant, and we hope to see you guys around. Come say hi to us, because we're really excited to enjoy the good food, like I said, and to say hi to all of you guys. Have a great time at the fest, guys.
Thank you so much. Great job. Great job. So it's come time for us to recognize this year's Hofmarschall. But first, a little history. The first Strassenfest in 1979 came about from a vision of a subcommittee of the Jasper Chamber of Commerce called the Jasper Action Team. One of the pillars of this committee that they sought to accomplish was to accelerate Jasper's growth. And as part of that vision of how do we go about doing that, a big piece of that was we need a festival to celebrate our heritage, to get the people together, to give us a reason to come together as a city to be able to show off everything that Jasper is in the hopes of attracting additional citizens. So I think it turned out very, very well. What do you think? So while it was the Jasper Action Team's vision that this is what we needed, they were smart enough to understand that they had a lot of things on their plate, and they put together and sought out a wonderful committee for the initial Strassenfest in 1979. That committee put in place so many wonderful policies and things that not only allows our fest to just survive, but we have thrived and grown, and we've absolutely become a powerhouse for festivals in southwestern Indiana. So we have so much to be thankful for to these folks. At this time, I would invite that initial committee's chairman, Charles Stempfenagel, to come to the podium to say a few words, and for the remainder of the committee that could be here with us this evening to also come forward and be recognized.
Guten Tag und willkommen to the Jasper Strassenfest number 40. A lot of water has passed under Patoka River Bridge since 1979, and the Jasper Strassenfest has grown from hopeful beginnings to one grand and fun-filled festival. Planning and organizing that first year was quite a challenge. But I had a great committee who worked together for months and months and somehow pulled it off. Some of those committee members are here tonight, and I would like to introduce them now. They are Ann Goody, Pete Sermesine, Dennis Kelly, all the way from Minneapolis, and Bernie Vogler, who we all know well. 4 other members of our committee cannot be with us here tonight, and they are Cliff Dugan, Charlie Tagliarini, Ken Sternberg, and Tom Hines. 3 members of the original committee are deceased: Jim Harris, Jack Brandt, and Paul Seidel. We thank each one of them for doing their part in getting the first Strassenfest started. Let's give them a round of applause. Thank you. 40 years ago, Dave Beeler and the Jasper Action Team decided that holding an annual festival to celebrate Jasper's strong German heritage would be a great way to build community and spirit. My committee was given the challenge of planning, organizing, coordinating an event that would continue for years to come. It involved picking the right dates, planning numerous events and activities, designing and color coordinating booths, logos, and programs, selling and promoting the hanging of German flags and bunting citywide. Also working with the mayor, the city police, and the city utilities. We had to organize restroom facilities, traffic flow, street closings, and parking spaces. And some of the biggest challenges that first year were procuring German bands, music groups, and carnival rides at the last minute. And finally, the liability insurance to cover it all. Somehow or another, it all came together. The first Strassenfest turned out to be a big hit. The community decided it was a good thing and should be held every year at this time. And here we are, 40 years later. With that, I'd like to say Prost to the first committee, Prost to our great German heritage, and Prost to Jasper and the 40th Annual Strassenfest. The best is yet to come.
Charles, I need you to hang loose up here. Thank you so much. As many of you are aware, each year we have a clock that is donated by Olinger Diamond Center that is presented to the Hofmarschall in recognition and appreciation of the things that they have done to help the Strassenfest come forward. As our Hofmarschall this year is a committee and not an individual, we are presenting a clock to the committee chair, who will be presenting this to the mayor, Terry Seitz, to live in City Hall as a commemoration of what is going of their time and all of their efforts in getting us started. Charles? This clock is inscribed as being presented at the 40th Strassenfest and bears the names of the entire 1979 committee members: Charles Stempfenagel, Chair; Jim Harris, Ann Goody, Pete Sermersheim, Charles Tagliarini, Tom Hines, Jack Brandt, Dennis Kelly, Paul Seidel, Bernie Vogler, Ken Sternberg, and Cliff Dugan, as being presented as honor from the 2018 Strassenfest Committee. So thank you again, Mayor, and we will look forward to being able to see that in City Hall.
Thank you.
I'd like to invite our host and hostess to the podium to provide their welcome to you here at the Jasper Strassenfest.
Go ahead.
Guten Abend, everybody. They saved the best for last. My wife Barb and I would like to welcome everyone to the 40th annual Jasper Strassenfest. We hope you have a great time, and if you want to learn more about your German heritage, just look at either myself, her, or any member of the Deutsche Verein, and we would be glad to give you more information. At this time, we're going to form over here for the parade down to the beer garden, so everybody come with us. And now it's time to say, let's party German style. Yay!
So as we close out our opening ceremonies here, we're going to prepare for our procession down to the beer garden, where we will be carrying our ceremonial keg and our ceremonial first bratwurst and pretzels. You are all invited to come down and join us. It's important that we continue to keep our traditions alive. As I went out and I did a lot of different speaking engagements to try to get encouragement to people to come and visit our festival, one of the things that I heard over and over again is how welcoming Jasper was, how the people here would go out of their way to make sure that people were having a good time and enjoying themselves visiting our fair city. I also heard how clean and safe our city was. So you all deserve a pat on the back for yourselves for making Jasper all that it has become. As we leave the podium to prepare for our procession, we have one final treat for you. We've got 3 young gentlemen that are going to come up here back on stage and do a traditional Schuhplattler dance, which is the slap dance. So these are 3 of the members that were up here originally. They are Amos Buschketter, Ethan Fritsch, and Nicholas Hodell. We'll be pulling the podium and leaving, and as we do that, we're going to get started with one final thing. And again, please join us. And thanks for being here at the 40th Annual Jasper Strassenfest.
Thank you, Mr. David Bueller. Wunderbar.